going live right now. We're still missing Gina, which is unfortunate. And we are live. All right. Welcome to this week's Network Roundtable. We have a full house this week hanging out with us. We have a special guest here, David Amerland. David, in 2 seconds, I'm going to give you a chance to introduce yourself. I want to know something that nobody else knows. So think about that while I quickly introduce everybody else. I am coming to you live from the offices of SEO.com. I'm Dennis Deuce, and thanks to a conversation I had, I think I'm going to give myself a new title, Semantic Sales Samaritan, so that's me. Coming to you live from Orem, Utah, my sister, Sherry, and she is a distributor in a MLM, and that's the perspective she's bringing to the table. And coming from Europe, our European correspondent with the most amazing accent ever is Emmanuelle. And again, there she is with her big smile. We love having Emmanuelle on here. We are missing one of our hosts, Gina Hovde from the Caribbean. I hope she gets on here for a number of reasons. Among them, I think that Small Business David will love to interview Gina. And if she gets on here, you'll see why. And if she doesn't, I'll explain it later. David, it's now your chance to tell us something nobody else knows about Small Biz David.
I don't know if that's possible, Dennis. I mean, I tell, I shoot from the hip. I let it all hang out. I've been thinking the last 2 minutes what that might be, and let me have till the end of the show.
You got it.
Till the end of the broadcast, and I will think of something. My goodness.
I thought I was going to put you on the spot, so that I don't put you on the spot too hard. A little later on in the episode, we're going to have a segment that I'm going to have you do, and that segment is called Make a Difference Moment. So it's kind of a pay it forward thing. I want to know something that you have done to pay it forward. So we're going to spotlight you in that as well. I won't put you on the spot the way I just did.
By the way, Dennis, I don't mind being put on the spot at all. I love challenges. Challenges are the thing that really motivate me. So put me on the spot as much as you want.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay. We are just about done with our introductions here. Now, I really hope Gina gets on, because she said she had some great stuff for our TED Talk of the week. But while we're still waiting for Gina, and hey, Emmanuelle or Sherry, could one of the two of you try and ping her by email, see if we can get some connection with her? I got an email from her, so I know she's planning on being on, but let's try again. We are going to move into a little bit early. That's pretty good. We were running late, and we're already ahead of schedule. We're going to run into our book podcast, and there is our reminder. Our book, podcast, or can't remember what the other one is. Anyway, our overview of the week. Or web blog post. And this one's coming to us from David Amerland, who was on your Dreaming with Entrepreneurs, David, just a few days ago. Great presentation, and he gave me a response in a conversation that was going on there. I think it's right down here. I'm just scrolling down to try and find that thing. But he gave me a link. I had put in a really lengthy question, if you remember, and
I do remember. It was lengthy.
Yeah, was that in this thread or was that in another one? There's so many threads going on.
I think it might have been in another thread. For some reason, there were a couple threads going on.
Yeah, yeah, and me and David Amerlin were in all of them. So I'm not finding it. I will put the link to this. It's an article about the power of social that David Amerlin wrote for Forbes magazine. There were actually two of them. Um, and they are, oh, I do know where they are. I will find them right here, and then we'll post them. Hold on just a second. We are going to jump into my, and if you don't have one of these accounts, they're free, and they tie right into your Gmail account, but a GOOGL account, totally cool thing. You got to have one because what it allows you to do is create these little shortened URL codes right here, like this one, and you can track. You can see how many times. See down the side here. You can see how many times people have used those. So it's kind of a cool tool. GOO.GL, and as with everything that Google does, it's free. All right, so we're going to jump in. I'll put both of these links into the notes, but for right now, actually, it was the other one that I liked that I wanted to touch on today. That's one of the articles that David sent to me, and this is the one he sent me first, which I really liked.
Dennis, can I make a comment also about that GOO.GL? For those folks, they go to the same place to get a QR code. And
Yes.
Was it you that I was talking about QR codes with? Yeah, it was you. We were talking about QR codes, wasn't it?
No, but I do talk about QR codes a lot. I haven't spoken with you, but yeah, it'll make a QR code. If you don't know what a QR code and you're watching right now, a QR code is those weird squares that look like a funky digital postage stamp. That's a QR code. So let me make sure I am, in fact, screen sharing here.
Oh, let me show you this.
Let's tell them why they would want a QR code or what it does.
Yeah, so a QR code is, sorry about this, sometimes I'm not screen sharing and get so many things going on, there we go. That's the one. I got a blue box. Okay. A QR code is a tool that you can shoot with your camera, and it's going to take you to a given page. That page can be yours. It can be somebody else's. There you go. Small business David right on the back of his card. There. Perfect.
That's the QR back. Code. That's my whole card.
That's your whole card. So this is Small Business David's card, and that's a QR code. Hold it up again because I was showing a different screen. There you go. And that little tool can take you to somewhere else on the web, anywhere you want. So that's going to take you to all of his contact information. I assume you also have that set up to automatically fill out your contact information into their...
No, I'm not as technically savvy as you are. So
okay, that's a really cool trick. You can use a QR code like he just did on the card, and as soon as you hit, you look at that, it's immediately going to push that information into your address book, which is a neat little feature.
Actually, that's a really neat feature. Dennis, I use that. That goes to a landing page. So
okay.
They'll get everything they want to know from me on that land. And you talk about sales. Not only that, I try to sell them something on that landing page.
There you go. Way to go. Okay, so I'm going to put this little link right here. This is some great information about what it is that you need to be doing, or why it is that social is an important thing. And David Amerlin wrote this article for Forbes magazine. Interesting little note. David has booked the end of January to come on a personal hangout on air with me. Really stoked about that. Sorry, I'm putting my headphones on. I was getting feedback, and that was driving me nuts. Okay. So here we are in today's event. For all of those who are watching this, this is where you're going to find the QR code. And there you go. Okay, so that's now in the notes. That'll take you to the article that David wrote, and you can read through that and see why David Amerlin says this is important. So, let's move to our next section. It's my section. We're going to move into. Boy, I'm getting a feedback that is like a couple of seconds behind me.
It's echoing for us as well.
Hang on. This is driving me completely nuts. Maybe I should mute. Let's try that. Okay, is it echoing?
Nope.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. No, I am still echoing on my end.
It started echoing again.
Are you going from? Are you picking up sound from your computer as well as an external mic?
I am not. No, you know what?
So if you mute one of your.
No, you're muted still.
I love that effect. No, I love that. It's a screen share thing. Sometimes I don't know why it does that, but it's so neat. Look at that graphic.
Oh yeah, going on forever. Okay, now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm not echoing. Yeah. Okay. So I do know why that does that. That's because you've screen shared right on the
Screen share.
The screen share of the episode itself. That's why it mimics like that forever. Okay. So we are going to talk for a minute, and sorry, I got sidetracked. Technical difficulties, that's what happens when you multitask 17 things at once. I do it every week. We are going to take a moment, and we are going to continue to talk to you about how to use Google+. And so, let's just recap what we did. 2 weeks ago, we talked about... Are you guys still getting an echo?
It just started again, yeah.
So we're now getting an echo because of somebody besides me, because I'm on a headphone. Can you guys either...
It's not echoing now.
Okay. You guys all should be doing headphones each week, okay? Because your microphones can pick up the speakers. So just remember that next week. All right, so 2 weeks ago, we talked about the important goal of finding 5 people to follow and engage with in the priming your pump process. Then we talked about, in your 30 minutes a day, check your favorite communities and engage with those communities. And you can watch those in the last episodes. This week, we're going to talk about responding and interacting with conversations you're already involved with. This is a great way to find and follow new people. Now, I'm going to actually highlight one of David's, we've already looked at it a little bit, but I'm going to highlight one of David's, David Leopold, even though it says David Amerlin right here in front of you. David Leopold is the guy we're highlighting. And this is a Hangout on Air that he had, and it just went nuts after the show. And it went nuts for a couple of reasons. One, David is really good at interacting with people. So this particular conversation right here is in reverse order, so I'm going to scroll to the bottom and we'll come back to the top. So this is like, this is before the show even started. Here's the conversations. We have the possibility for this same thing in all of our events. All you do is just say something right there, and that conversation's going to happen. So all of our hosts ought to be helping out and commenting through the week and sharing thoughts that come up that they're preparing and those kinds of things. But I wrote this, and David then kindly invited me to an HOA, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on. I gave him my phone number, said, hey, let's get in contact. This is all before the thing goes on. Here's the people saying they're going to come, a couple of people. Here's a lady who does kitchen design. She talks about how she's not going to be there because it's the day before the Thanksgiving. Then she gives away her famous recipe for her stuffing, which she says is the highlight. This is really fun. The conversation continues. This is all before the show. And then...
Dennis, might I say, not only was it before the show, it also had nothing to do necessarily with the show itself, but people were engaging with one another that were in that stream. That I think that's the point you're trying to make, how powerful Google Plus really is.
Yes, and the importance of engaging, and not necessarily engaging just 100% on topic, but showing who you are and your personality, and kind of being you is really important when you are engaging on these conversations. So jumping back into this thread, I get in. This is like minutes after the show started. I jump in and say, hey, let's get this party started. Whenever I am watching, so I'm not a host or I'm not being interviewed on an HOA, I let the world know that I'm there. That's just my thing. Some people do that, some people don't, but you'll always see me when I jump in making a comment. So then we've got people starting to ask some questions about the show. Conversations are going on, and then we start to get to after the show, and this is where things really blew up here. There's a great question asked down here by Scott, who I didn't know previous to this, but have since started to follow and found is a pretty smart person. And then we start this conversation between him and David Amerland, and a couple of people here and there are piping in some great question and answer stuff going on. And the power of this thing continues to move far beyond just the moment of the hangout on air. And it was a result of this conversation specifically right here. Here's the two links, by the way, that David Amerland gave. Because of all of this, I ended up having David Amerland is going to be a guest on a direct hangout on air about him. Now, let me point out, David Amerland wrote the book on Google semantic search. He writes for Forbes magazine. He has 173, almost 174,000 followers here on Google+. So the power of the connections that you can make, there's no way, and besides that, David lives in England. There's no way that I could have made this relationship any other way. But the power that it has to, create strength in the future for me is just unbelievable. So there is the link so that you guys can go back and read through this. It's a great conversation, well worth taking the time to read through and just see how engagement happens. Now, one quick point, since I have a little bit more time before my alarm goes off here, one quick point that I want to point out is when you post something of your own, first of all, unless you're getting engagement on other people's stuff, people really honestly don't care about your stuff, okay? So if you want to get engagement on the things you're posting, then you first need to engage on the things other people are doing and build those relationships so that then there will be engagement on your stuff later on. David, would you agree that that's a vital first step?
Absolutely. And I find, well, that's how you and I got connected, because I read something that you said in a stream, and I picked up on that, and then you and I started an engagement. It's a wonderful thing, and I've never seen anything like it in all my years of marketing and doing this stuff. It just you find you get any information that you really possibly need.
Yeah, and there is no comparison between any other social media's engagement and Google Plus. I've got more than twice as many people following me or friending me on Facebook as I've got on Google Plus. I will get about 10 notifications a day on Facebook that I have something that I need to look at or engage with. On Google Plus, I'll get more than 10 notifications that I'm involved in some conversation every hour. And that doesn't matter even if I'm asleep. People are engaging with my stuff. It's unbelievably different, and the power, and we're over time now, but the power is really in having those conversations, first and foremost on other people's stuff. Secondly, if you are going to post, you have something that you want to post, Emmanuel, this one's special for you. Please don't hate me, but I'm just here to help. Put as much information as you can about why you're posting it, why it's important to you. Bare your soul. I'm talking, in fact, if you don't have a following, I think you better have 3 paragraphs in order to post something yourself. David, what do you think? Am I exaggerating there? I think if you don't have 3 paragraphs about the piece that you're putting up, you shouldn't be sharing it unless you're a big hitter.
You bring up a great point, Dennis, and I have a little different philosophy about what I post. So, but you're absolutely right. That's where people are really abusing, I think, Google Plus, like they will abuse anything where they think they're going to get some attention. People will put stuff out there, and it has no meaning. It belongs on Facebook and not in Google Plus. Is really how I look at it.
Yeah, and one of the typical mistakes that I see, and I've actually created a circle now for people when I see this. I used to not circle them. I used to go, that's annoying. This person's an unknown spammer. But what it is they'll drop the same link into 5 different communities within moments of each other. And so you look at their page and you see post after post after post after post about the same exact thing, the same picture, the same whatever, and there's just a link and there's no explanation. And I will not post the same thing within 24 hours. That's a personal thing of mine. I think that's important. But when I see that somebody has been doing that, I now put them in a circle that's called needs help. And I watch these people and I try and give them some love later on and show them. I want to see everybody engage. And the thing that inspired me, I don't know, David, if you saw the conversation with Mark Trafhagen about that guy that he had called out a year ago that became a really great Google Pluser, but he had been spamming Mark Trafhagen, and so Mark just flat out called him out publicly. Did you see that conversation?
No,
I'll go back and find that. I'll find that and I'll put that up in the show notes so you guys can see that. Well, I'm getting a ton of feedback again. Okay. So we are over time on that section. I am going to now put David back on the spot for a moment. And David, let's have you tell us something that you've done to pay it forward. And the reason that I have this segment in an entrepreneurial getting started hangout is that I feel it's vitally important that we are giving back for business, but even more so, it is the culture of Google+. So if you're trying to get into this culture, you have got to have that mindset of pay it forward. So you got a couple of minutes there, David. Go ahead and give us an example of when you paid it forward.
I try to pay it forward every single day of my life, as a matter of fact.
You do, and
I am doing all of this. You do, and well, I'm doing all of this, Dennis, and it's not to necessarily build a huge following. If that happens, that's kind of neat. I'm doing this, and if you go to my YouTube, I'll plug my YouTube. If you go to YouTube Small Biz David, that YouTube channel, the first video that you see is my rendering of a pledge called the Entrepreneurship Pledge. It is the finest. It describes what I do and what I am finer than anything. I couldn't say it any better than these folks. And it was a pledge that was created by the Kauffman Foundation out of Kansas City. They are the Entrepreneurship Foundation. And every 6 weeks, I read this pledge in a YouTube or an HOA or something, because to your point, and this is why I'm saying this. Because of my years of experience, over 40 years of doing this stuff, and all the folks that have been good to me and have helped me along my journey, helped me realize my dreams along the way, I am obligated to give back to the world. I am absolutely obligated, whatever that means. And so what I try to do is, and you've seen it, my whole thing is about the spirit of entrepreneurship. I want to do everything I can to keep that spirit alive, number one. And number two, there's a lot of folks who need to jump out of wherever they are and into a bigger picture where they can share their expertise and their knowledge and their experiences. And that's really what I'm about. But I've never seen it captured so well. And I urge people to go to buildastrongeramerica.com. Buildastrongeramerica.com. Take the pledge. You will not regret it, because if you read it and you look at it and you really say, "Geez, that's why I do what I do," and it's beautiful.
So, David, can you do us a favor? Can you put a Google Shortnener link in the notes for the link to that pledge?
A shortened link?
Yeah, or a link. I don't care if you want to track it or don't track it. That's up to you. But at least give us the link in the show notes. In the, I call it show notes, but it's really just in the event conversation.
Let's talk about that for a moment too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a great. People should be using that event tool, and I really learned all this kind of stuff from Ronnie Binzer, that treat that event tool as a landing page. Mm-hmm. Look at all the stuff that goes on with it, and Google is paying for it. They're serving that opportunity to you, and those landing pages, those event pages, and you do a great job. I mean, you've shown it 30 times already this morning, Dennis, that you use those things, and that's how you can communicate with folks. And it's a landing page, and you build your brand. Any of those event pages and those threads that you get into, it starts to tell a whole lot about who you are and what you do and what you're trying to accomplish. So it's a great tool that people should pay closer attention to. But yes, I will put a link in that event page.
Good deal. All right, Sherry, do you have a quote for us this week?
I do.
All right, let's go ahead and hear our quote of the week.
This one's from Henry David Thoreau. And he says, if one advances confidently, thank you, one of my favorites too. He says, if one advances...
Oh, thanks, David. You're great.
Okay, if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, He will meet success. He will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Oh, I picked one of David's favorite.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, he'll have a comment or two on this quote. But I liked it because, we're talking about success as part of our purpose is to build our businesses, and yet he sort of brings it back a step and talks about our life as a whole that helps bring us to success. So if we've got this dream that we've imagined and we're moving confidently in that direction and trying to live the life that we've imagined, which I believe encompasses a lot more than just our business success. It's all aspects of our life, like the pay it forward we've been talking about. Then the success will come to us, and sometimes at an unexpected moment. But because we are living that kind of life and moving towards our dreams, that success will come to us. David, what can you add to that?
It's amazing, and Dennis, I actually have the URL shortened version of that, but I hang it. I live by it. So it's unbelievable that you brought that forward today because it says it. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. That's what our lives can be all about. But it starts with a dream. I once heard a guy do a motivational speech one time in public, and he said maybe the greatest gifts that we can give our children is the ability to dream, is the desire to dream, because that's where it starts. Thank you for sharing that wonderful quote from Henry David Thoreau.
Well, I'm glad you liked it.
I love it. I love it. I got a little personal story. Here's something personal about me. Nobody knows. Dennis. I was in a play one time, and the lead actor in the play was a guy by the name of David Canary. He made his fame on Bonanza, started on Bonanza, then he went on to do a soap opera that I think he's still on television. Anyways, he went to the University of Cincinnati, came back one year. I was in a play, and I did a scene with him. And he was Henry David Thoreau. He was the character Henry David Thoreau, and I was a jailer, and I was responsible for putting him in jail because of some thoughts that he had that were unpopular in the community where he was. Well, it had to be Walden Pond, and wonderful, wonderful thought. And thank you for sharing that. You made my day.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Emmanuel.
Yes?
Normally I'm going to have you doing that book, quote, or book or podcast or article or some piece of something each week. You were traveling last week. Where were you?
I went to Eindhoven in Holland.
Oh, wow. Nice. How was that?
That was fun. You didn't see much of it, but it was a great training.
So,
I tasted some great Gouda.
Oh, wow. Smoked or not?
Yep. Some smoke, some age.
Yeah, there you go. Nothing like a good smoked Gouda. So next week, I'm going to have you touch on a book, a podcast, an article, or something that you have read or come across that could help motivate us. So if you can take that for next week.
Okay.
Okay, there's two little plugs that I now want to make before we close. One of those plugs is, you know what, David? It's you that's feeding back. I'm looking at the... Can you turn your volume down just a hint? David? Perfect. That's better. Okay. I can just see your little mic going up every time I speak, so I know it's happening there. Okay. So, two plugs. One, next week, I'm going to be on David's show, and we will talk about that in a second. The other one, I put this already in the note. I am going to be doing, I think, probably the coolest HOA of the entire month of December. I'm pretty bold in making that statement, but I think I'm going to take the award for the coolest HOA next month. I am going to be doing an HOA. One of my coworkers here at SEO.com is an actor in The Christmas Carol at Hale Center Theater. Hale Center Theater is the largest theater company in Salt Lake, and this guy's been part of the Christmas Carol cast for 10 years. We're going to be coming to you live from the Hale Center Theater. We're going to have a bunch of cast members on. They're going to sing 3 songs for us. They're going to do one skit. We're going to highlight mostly Josh from SEO.com, but 2 other actors are also going to get highlighted during this 1-hour special. It's going to be like Hollywood quality, really cool. I am super excited to be doing this. So here's the cool thing. We wanted to create as many tie-ins as possible. Wow, you guys are having fun in the background. You guys just wanted to have hats and be as cool as me, that's all. We are going to be doing this specifically on Friday the 13th. And that was just me and my sick sense of humor. I figure, it's a Christmas Carol, right? So we're going to have ghosts there in costume. Everybody's going to be in costume except me. So, yeah, we're going to do it on Friday the 13th. I'm stoked. You got to tune into this one because it's going to be amazing! Thanks, David. All right, now, David, I'm going to let you do a little bit of plug on next week's Dreaming with Entrepreneurs.
Yes, I unmuted myself.
Yes, okay. You did.
I created Dreaming with Entrepreneurs. Just let me give a brief thought about it. I actually had an epiphany about 7 years ago, and I probably had been watching Dancing with the Stars on a Monday night, and went to bed, and I woke up I woke up at my normal time, which is the middle of the night, and the name Dreaming with Entrepreneurs came to me, literally just popped in, and I ran down to my computer and I bought the domain name, and my thought was going to be that I was going to have a reality television show about dreaming with entrepreneurs. That was the whole thing, and I went on to, I got a service mark on it. I paid an attorney, a patent attorney, to get a service mark for me on. Anyway, Dreaming with Entrepreneurs is kind of, Dennis, what I'm doing with my life and giving back. And that whole motivational thing. I want to bring out the entrepreneurial spirit with folks and share that enthusiasm, share that energy, share that knowledge, share those experiences. And I don't know originally what got us together, but I saw that in you right away. I mean, like maybe the first thing that came out of your mouth, or no, that came into a stream. That's how we connected, because of something you said on a stream or whatever. I said, that's a guy I want to connect with. And so we're just going to have you share. I mean, Dreaming with Entrepreneurs is about sharing experiences, motivating folks, and I have this thing that, and it works into the pledge, that the success of entrepreneurship, the success of small business in general, is collaboration. Now we are all collaborating together today, each one of us with our different perspectives and what we do with our lives, and that's what it's all about. And in that collaboration, we help each other. We help each other improve our businesses together. We create a new force that brings some new energy and new information to the marketplace, and that is indeed the concept of small business collaboration. And I brought that out in my discussion with David Amerlin, and he was all over it. I mean, he was all over it, and of course gave a real deep philosophical, there's no more philosophical individual, I think, than David Amerlin. I mean, he gets down, and I said, wow, he's saying that now. But Dennis, I just want to share that your energy and my energy and our love for what we're doing, and just share that with folks, and get some more folks going and create that collaboration, that team. You were the one that said teams, didn't you? You and I talked about teams. It's the same thing. Collaboration and teams. That's what we form teams, and we collaborate with one another to help one another do whatever we can, because it all comes around and it all comes back, and we all move forward.
Yep. Perfect. I'm really excited to be on next week. I'm really looking forward to this. And I've got a couple of fun little animated GIFs that I have put together that I will share as soon as you've got the event set up.
Well, to that point, let me also share how I do that. I do this stuff all day long. I don't do anything else. This is what I do all day long. And so you tell me when you've got an opening in your schedule for 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes, and I will do the best I can to book that amount of time for you, and we'll dream with you in that period of time. So just give me a date and time, and 99% of the time it'll work.
Okay. Well, let's talk about date and time once we're off the episode, and get that scheduled. But be watching for that. Once the event itself is up on David's channel, I will be putting it in these notes so that you can find it. I'll be plugging it. But also be looking for some really interesting animated GIFs that are going to make you go, this doesn't seem like Dennis. Not the one I know on Google Plus. But it'll all tie into the entrepreneurial spirit that you've seen in me, David. So.
And one thing I guarantee, that HOA will be a lot of fun. I absolutely guarantee it.
Yep, we will have some good times. So, Sherry, before we check out, do you have any last parting thoughts for our viewers?
I guess I would say, there's so many opportunities. This is one of them. We're seeing Dreaming with Entrepreneurs. So the more that you connect, the more you will find that more people and opportunities you'll find that can help you build your business. So just keep engaging.
Keep engaging. All right, that's great advice, especially for younger. And Emmanuel, closing thoughts from you.
Closing thoughts. That's very nice of you to let me finish. It's been actually a pleasure to be on tonight. And I mean, I'm here to learn. I've got a lot to learn, so I'm glad I'm continuing.
Emmanuel, David, can you mute yourself again? For some reason, we were getting more feedback with Emmanuel than anyone else. Okay, Emmanuel. Go ahead and say it again. I couldn't hear anything.
No, I said thank you very much for having me today. But for me, it's a learning experience. So I'm here to learn from the pro. So it's a perfect platform. So I'm just happy to be there. And hopefully next week I'll be able to share something a little bit more than today. So thank you for having me. And hopefully you all taking a little break for Thanksgiving and enjoy it.
A little bit. I'm working until noon, but thank you, and I really appreciate you guys being on this show and your willingness to come in here and to learn on this platform. That's what this is all about for me, and I love the view that comes from you guys. I got an email post on Facebook from a friend of mine this week that ties in with what you were just saying there, Emmanuel. And it said that when we listen to something, we retain 10% of it. When we teach somebody else, we retain 90% of it. And so the key thing here is for all of us, Sherry and me and Emmanuel and our special guest this week, David, we are all, if we really want to grasp this stuff, we not only need to listen to this episode, but we need to go out and try and do the things we're learning. And believe me, I'm doing that every day. I am watching Ronnie Bintzer and Eric Enge, and I don't know if I pronounced that right, David, and David Leopold and David Amerlin and Ren Fishkin and all these people, and I am constantly trying to learn from them. So, Emmanuel, to your point, we're here to learn from the pro. The only reason you're learning anything is because I am learning every minute of my life. And then I go out and I try what I learned. So thank you. Thank you. That was a great. You unmuted yourself, David, so I think you've got something to say. I'm just guessing here.
No, I just kudos, Dennis. Thank you for this opportunity. This is really it's a beautiful thing, and I can't believe that anybody would ever say that Google Plus and Hangouts, they're not social. Is there anything more social? Is there anything more social than what we've engaged in today?
Yeah. It's perfectly social. So. All right, that's a great closing thought. We will be back next week. Same place, same time. And so join in. At this point in time, we don't know whether we'll have a special guest or not, but keep watching the notes because I will be putting together a special hat tip top 10, which this week, because I missed a few weeks back. So our hat tip top 10 this week is going to be a top 20. So check out, follow those people. They are people that I have found interesting. Some of them have 50 people following them. Some of them have 500,000 following them. But these people are worth hanging out with on Google Plus. And we will hang out with you next week. Thank you. Oh, let me. We will hang out with you next week. Hat tip to David. Thank you for being on the show. And we will see you later. Thanks.